Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to What Had Happened Was. What Had Happened Was.
Wait, I
Karyn, Bryant.
messed up the age. Wait,
How did
how do we how do we do the
what?
age again?
Remember?
Oh
What
yeah.
had you take a left hand and you make what? What
Oh wait,
had
wait.
happened? What?
Oh my god. Oh
Wow,
my
you win a
god.
title, and the next thing you know, you don't even remember the name of your own
Hey
show.
man, what had happened was we was having too much fun at the after party. Yo, I love the leopard print coordination. I didn't know you were
Yes.
wearing this today, Karen.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
just
listen.
vibing.
I mean, we are totally vibing. Yeah, folks, Karyn Bryant, Angela Hill with you for What Had Happened Was. And we're not going to lie, we are feeling the fact that our homie Kamaru Usman and still,
And
and like,
still
this one felt good, and this one felt
feels
good.
warm and fuzzy. It feels real nice. Feels real nice. I'm liking settling into this reigning champ right here.
Me too. I
Dude.
feel really good about it. Yeah, so we want to talk about that. And that was obviously an incredible event. And Rose Namajunas kept her title. There was an instant classic with Gaethje and Chandler. There
Oh
was a
my god.
lot going on.
Yeah.
So we can get to that. It's just so fun. I want to live in this. I mean, Kamaru must have he looked so fly all week too. By the way, I don't know
He
if people still say
did.
fly, but he looked so good all week.
Yeah, he was very dapper with it. He was styling. He was what is flossing? Do people say flossing anymore? No,
I don't know.
flossy. He had the drip.
The drip.
He
He
had
has
the
a drip.
drip going. Yeah, he was looking good. He was looking good. Very King of Zamunda type,
Yes.
like just leaning into the whole Nigerian ancestry and wearing all sorts of cool outfits.
Yeah.
I tweeted his outfit on into the arena, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, you know that he means business because he's just like a Dora Milaje of a Black Panther. So
Is
you
that yeah with
know,
the
yeah, with the
yes
fur thing. It was more
the
like the comic
fur
book version,
right?
giving comic book Dora Milaje, not really a Marvel movie one, but
Right.
I was feeling it.
Yeah, it was he looked great. And it's funny because yeah, just putting this stuff on, like I haven't worn this in a while, and I was like, you know what, I actually love this jacket.
Me
And
too. Mm.
and I don't know where you got the I know the story with mine because this I bought this jacket with money that I made gambling. Like I remember years ago, I was working on a thing in Vegas and I
Perfect.
was playing blackjack and I won money, and I was like, well, if you win money like that, like you can't spend it on like your rent or your mortgage. So I was like, I need to just blow this money because it's blackjack money. And so
Yeah.
when I was back in New York, I was over at Bendel's, and so this is like a Henry Bendel, so I've had it forever or
Very
whatever.
nice.
But I put it on as like a, for this, and I was like, damn, baby girl, why don't you wear this more often?
Yeah, right. Same here, same here. But my excuse is I live in San Diego, so
Yeah, I know.
so this is a traveling to a warm or a cold place and wanting to
Right.
stunt a little bit on people jacket made of real leopard. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Like,
kidding.
that's not cool.
I mean, it costs as much as it should have.
Yeah,
As
right.
if it was. This is some fancy fox fur right here, but
Nice.
it's real comfy. So
Nice. I busted out my Rolly too for the show.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean,
I got the
it's
baby
trying to.
knockers, so
Yeah.
we're still cost
Nice.
a fraction of the price, but it's still fancy.
Nice. All right, I can't see you with these on anymore.
Okay,
I
yeah,
need to like just
I
take these
gotta
off. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, it was an incredible event. But we want to maybe answer some questions too, right? Because on the but people should
Yeah.
know this is on YouTube, and I got my YouTube /Karyn Bryant working again. Hallelujah. So all you have to do is just go to YouTube /Karyn Bryant, Karyn. Bryant as in Colby. You will find all of our shows. This is episode 40, by the way, Angie, of the What Had Happened
Dang.
Was
The big
podcast.
4-0. Yeah. That's about
Yeah,
the age I'll be when I get the belt. That's my goal.
that's cool. That's cool. That's
Glover
cool.
has inspired me. He's like, you know what? You're only in the first half of your UFC career.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. But yeah, so we have the show up over there. So a lot of time people will give us questions over there. And it was on Instagram, on your Instagram. We gotta, hopefully they're gonna fix that because they're in transition with videos
It's like a
and stuff on
glitch,
Instagram,
yeah.
right?
It's a weird glitch. Like I'll try to upload anything longer than 15 minutes and it doesn't. It just gets stuck in the uploading process. So it's strange. But when it's back, it'll be on there. And until then, flock to the YouTube and get us those views so everybody knows what happened was. But on Instagram, we'll still post clips. And I wanted to get some questions from our fans who have been tuning in. And I got a bunch. So let me just swim through and pick a couple cool ones. We got a cool one from, let's see.
By the way, I just want to say we look really good in this leopard print.
Dude, I think on the 20th, this needs to be the outfit. Like,
like we look really good.
I think this needs to be the outfit when we do SPN on the 20th. I think this is a winner.
But yes, it would be funny to wear this on the air. They'd be like, wait, what?
I know, right? Okay. And they'd never let us do it again. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If we one and done, like we always say that you can do everything on television once.
Exactly. Janet Jackson rule. So my first question is from always.alexander89. Do you think the UFC should start every pay-per-view with a guaranteed banger? Lord have mercy, that fight. Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. Man, that was insane. Insane.
Yeah.
If anything, it took a lot of steam away from the title fights, which were both very good title fights. But the whole time I'm just thinking about that fight. It's like I felt like I was cheating on the title fights, you know? Like I'm watching the title fight, but I'm thinking about another matchup. I was like,
yeah.
This is great. Yeah, Rose is doing really good, but man, Chandler Gaethje, man, Gaethje getting wobbled and coming back and mashing his face up. Chandler keeping going, even though his face was destroyed. Like, dude, oh my god, instant classic. Would love to see it again. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. What do you think? Should that be a tactic going forward?
Well, it always is it is their attempt. I mean, like that is the plan. It just doesn't always work out. I mean, and so there have been times when I've had friends in that spot and their fight ended up not being like, let's say they put two strikers together, right? And so there have been times when they'll put them together and you're like, on paper, this looks amazing. And then maybe they neutralize, or maybe one guy runs, or maybe whatever, and you don't get the fight that you want. So I've spoken to some of my friends who've been in that position after, and they're like embarrassed and they're bummed because they're like, God dang it. Like, I know I was trusted with this slot for a reason and we didn't deliver. And now I feel like crap. Like, and I think the fighters know that when they're given that spot, like, yo, we have big expectations. And so I think that is always the matchmaker's plans and the way they schedule that out. And granted, obviously this time we had two superstars early on because of their coach and he needed to like catch his breath. But yes, in general, that is the intention, is to start the card off with a bang.
Okay. But I don't think it's always the intention, right? Like sometimes they do, sometimes they start off with a fight that just is important in the makeup of things, but it might be a snoozer.
Yeah, I mean,
like sometimes they start off with a heavyweight fight that they know they're both going to try to grapple, you know, or hold up against the knees. But because they're both highly ranked, you have to start with that fight. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to put them in the prelims because you had a better fight to put in the head prelim and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but in theory, the featured prelim and the first fight on the main card are supposed to be holy crap.
Just like, yeah, for sure. I do think it was different though to have a fight of that caliber as the opener. Usually that would be like the Coco main event. The one before the Co. And yeah, I think that was I don't know. I feel like I was thinking about that fight all night after it happened. So
yeah, I think a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were too. But in this case, Burgos and Billy Q threw down too. Like Burgos and Billy Q could have opened it up, and they would have been amazing too. So
that's true.
It was just we just got treated to a really great card. But in general, yeah, like Burgos, those guys would have gone first, which was a great fight.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. All right, I have a question from them kids daddy _ Karyn. If you're casting the KB Heat biopic, who plays Karyn?
Oh, geez. Well, I have my SAG card, so I get to play me as a grown-up.
You play your mom.
yeah. I got Jamaican accent. I got to work on my Jamaican accent.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Like I love Zendaya, but she's too skinny to play me. Because
no, she's not. Shut up.
Oh, honey, I don't know. No, Angela, you didn't know KB in the early years.
I've seen you on MTV. You're a rake.
KB has never been, I've literally never been weighed less like in my life. I think probably even 5th grade or 8th. In 8th grade, I definitely weighed more than I do now. Like I was not small. So it would have to be a girl that had some meat on her bones. Who would play me? I don't know. I guess I don't watch enough like movies with chocolate girl. I don't know. Like, but literally, like, I love Zendaya. She's adorable and stuff, but like, she doesn't look like me. That's a really hard question. I don't know.
Okay. He also asked me who would cast me in the Angela Hill biopic. Not as cool of a name as the KB Heat biopic, but. Who would play me? It would either be Willow Smith or Jaden Smith in drag.
Yes,
very. Through the fighter years, we would switch from Willow to Jaden. You would put on
that's very wig. Good.
You would be a beautiful version of me. So those are my answers.
That's good. Actually, I think of it now. There was that girl in that Ava DuVernay movie that maybe could play me. Right, the one in that myth.
She was.
Yeah, the mythological one that like Oprah produced it or whatever, and she was like a little girl. She had curly, that girl.
With the little glasses.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. She kind of reminds me of your mini me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that girl could do it.
We got our answers. Okay. I'll ask you this one. Hey, Karyn, Mike L91. Asked if you could roundhouse anyone on the ESPN team, who would it be? Cough, Steven. They wrote Cough Steven, not me.
I already told you how they. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pick. Well, you mean anybody that I work with, right?
Yeah, anyone you work with.
Right, because I don't work with those guys. So
it could be anybody.
That's so bad. Who would I roundhouse? I don't know mad at anybody. I would probably have more fun I'd kick Anthony. I'd try to beat up Anthony because he'd be one of those guys that would be like, oh, that's cute. Like, nice try. Like, and so you feel like with him, you could probably try to beat the crap out of him and like get your like angst out and you wouldn't even like affect him and stuff. So that maybe I would do because I wouldn't want to like, I'm not trying to like.
You don't want to hurt nobody.
Actually hurt anybody. Yeah.
You don't want to hurt nobody. I think my answer would be Brendan Fitz. I feel like he deserves a kick every now and then. No, he's such a cool guy. And I actually, when I was just sitting on my couch, not doing commentary or not doing the desk work, I would talk mad shit about this guy that came in who doesn't know anything about MMA. And dude, he's so good now. Like he studies, he does his homework, he like knows the fighters back and forth, like their history and everything. He knows moves now. Now he's knowing move. Every now and then he'll throw out something technical, and I'm like, who told you that? So I want to get him familiar with the roundhouse. I think that would be
nice.
That would be my thing. Then he can reference it next time someone gets kicked. He'll go, well, I bet that hurt because Angela Hill kicked me, and it was pretty gnarly. So there you go.
Well, and I think just this morning too, because he had tweeted out that he was going to get in shape. So maybe he could use your help because he was like, I'm going to get in shape now. He's like, I'm deciding I'm going to get in shape. And one of our producers was like, oh, well, we could go jogging or whatever. And so then I was like, well, I have an idea. And I just put like 3 kangaroos. I was like, I mean, if you want to get on the KB jump rope train, you can get on the jump rope train.
Basically, we all need to go to the Apex right before we film.
I know.
It's okay. They'll fix us up. They'll put makeup on us afterwards. We might sweat through it, but it'll be good. Yeah. Okay, I got one more question for you. How did you guys score Rose versus Weili? This is from Sasso787. Also, he asked if we dance like Beast Boy. But first, let's answer the Rose Weili question.
I had Rose winning.
Okay.
I had Rose winning, but it came down to the 5th round for me. And so it was 2-2 going into the 5th for me, and Rose very clearly took round 5. So I had Rose winning.
I thought that Rose won the first round, and no one else thought that online, it seemed like. And I thought it was really weird. I was wondering why people were saying that, because I thought despite the takedown, Rose was just very accurate. And then she went on to lose the next 2, I thought, but then came back in the 4th, and then the 5th, I thought she did enough as well. So I didn't see my score at all on the judges' scorecards, but still she won the 2 out of 3 judges and 2 out of 3 judges' opinion. So it's kind of weird because I see it all over the place. Some people gave her the last 3 rounds. Some people gave her the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Like people were kind of all over the place with the scoring. I think the only definite round was the one where Weili took her back. I think that was the 3rd round or something.
I think that was the one where she wasn't, there was one round where Rose definitely was on the bottom more and was, definitely looked like she was losing that round. Or there was one round that was pretty close, but then Weili got the takedown late in the round, right? Maybe that's the one. And so maybe that was it. And so, she's, and they had a little scramble and stuff. Right. And so, I know it was definitely very close, and the whole split decision thing doesn't surprise me. But when it came down to the split decision, I did think it was going to go to Rose. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if it went the other way. Zhang is amazing. So it was awesome. Like, I'll watch them fight all over again. Like, I don't care. So I just happen to think that Rose won, but that doesn't mean I can't see the other way. And that I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so stupid to think that Weili won. Cause she did a lot of great things, and we saw that she did get a lot better. And obviously she's improved a lot. But it still needs to know what to do when her back's on the ground. Like, still needs to get a little bit more active there and whatever. But I feel like she's already, made a lot of leaps. I think working with Henry's been good for her, and she did so many things right. And she's obviously an incredible athlete. Like, we're lucky we have great. I mean, it's your division, I mean, we're lucky we have like these great fighters to choose from, to where we are debating like it being that close, because there's so much parity in your division. So
Yep. Yeah. All right. So, are you gonna dance like Beast Boy or not?
I don't know. Am I?
You can't see it, but I'm hardly shaking
I know.
Perfectly. There we go. Okay.
Nice.
We did it.
Nice. That was good. Okay, that was good. Hey, so there was that other question that had come in before. That somebody was asking about the locker rooms, and can you guys, let's say you didn't want to be in the locker room with somebody, right? Because I believe this was a reference to Sean Strickland. Somebody had heard, something, there was a thing going a little while ago with back and forth between Bilal and Sean had said some things that seemed to, really upset a lot of people. And just in general, he's a little bit of an out there guy. And has said some things that have really gotten some people rankled. And the question was basically, as a fighter, if you're all of a sudden assigned a locker room and there's somebody, like, let's say, even a Colby situation, let's say you're a black kid that like really was offended by him, and then all of a sudden you show up and you're sharing the locker room with Colby. Do you have a choice to say, can I have a different room?
Yes, you do. And I think this is something that was established a long time ago, because ever since I came to the UFC, my first fight, 2014, December 2014, that was my first UFC fight. ever since then, they were like, okay, this is who you're assigned with in your locker room. Do you need to make any changes? Are there any teammates who you want to share a locker room with? Is there anyone here that you have beef with? And we were just coming off the show. So I'm sure there was a lot of switches, you know, like I'm not standing I'm not warming up next to that bitch. I might punch her on accident. So yeah, they've always been very mindful of the heightened, I guess, emotion on fight night, and knowing that there's some motherfuckers you don't want to see that night, you know, like you don't want to see anybody until you get in there and punch someone in the face. So yes, if you have an issue, and this was one lens in China, thank you for the question. If you have an issue with somebody, you have the choice of not sharing a locker room with them. You could probably, if you're a real weirdo, you could probably request to share a locker room with someone you have beef with too. So, you know, you probably can't word it that way, but you could just be like, you know, I kind of want to mess with so-and-so. Yeah. I really love Claudia. Can I share a room with her? But of course, the other person has to be okay with it. So
right.
So yeah, you have to be two psychopaths wanting to fuck with each other. But otherwise, yeah, you're good to not share a locker room with someone you don't like.
Right. And then also furthering on that line of thought, you're allowed to say, hey, I don't like that ref either, right?
You are, but I'm not sure how much control you have over it, because there's only a certain number of refs. I think even now there's maybe less refs on call because of COVID, whatever. The less people you have working, the better. So I think there might not be as much control over that. But like if something's made public, like for instance, I'm sure if Dominic Cruz didn't want no nonsense Keith Peterson reffing his fight, I'm sure they would make sure that didn't happen again. You know, like they are understanding about situations, but I think they're also like, hey, if you just don't like the way this refs, there's only so much we can do about it, you know? But yeah, I think you have to have a good reason to request a ref. I would love to request judges. I think
I know, right?
I would love that. But you know, like sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't. So even that, it's like, who are you gonna pick? If I told Chris Lee I don't want him to judge me, then it might have been, you know, all judges score the fight 5 rounds to none for Michelle Watterson, you know, like something like that. So you never know what you're gonna get. But I think the locker room people, that's easy to control because there's so many locker rooms. Like it's easy to put you in your own one if you need it.
Nice. Well, yeah, I do. What did he say? Keith smelled like cigarettes and like stale whiskey or something?
Cigarettes and alcohol. Like, Dom, everyone smells like cigarettes and alcohol.
I was going to say, you're in Vegas, dude. Like, cigarettes and alcohol. That's what it is.
You go to a gas station. You go to like a Chuck E. Cheese. It's going to smell like cigarettes and alcohol in Vegas, you know?
Right.
Okay, and yeah, that's all I got for the questions. So there you go.
Cool. Nice. Thank you, everybody, for writing your questions in. But yeah, so since we've been obviously talking fights, but let's lean into this Kamaru situation a little bit more, because one thing that I find interesting, well, first and foremost, awesome fight. And I looked to me from the very beginning that Kamaru was in great control, but I will say, what was it, round 4 or something like that? I was like, Colby landed a few good things.
Yeah.
And there was a few times where I got a little concerned because Kamaru, when it would get into some of these close exchanges, like I didn't like where his head was. Sometimes I felt like his head was like a little too hittable, and I didn't like. There was just a few times where I was like, play defense. You know what I mean? Like I got a little nervous that someone was going to land, and people joke about Colby not having power, but a lot of those did look pretty good. And, you know, even somebody without a lot of power, eventually, if you land enough, it will lead to a knockout. So I was at times a little concerned for some defense that Kamaru, I was thinking, play a little more defense here. But I thought it was a great fight. And I really wasn't really worried because I know how hard Kamaru works. And then also after you saw how good Gaethje did, his teammate already, you already saw Rose win. I was like, there's no way this dude's not winning tonight.
Yeah, but that's not always the case, you know.
I know, but I'm saying the extra motivation even for him too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think just the fact that Kamaru has stayed active and he's been in fight camp since Colby last fought him, and just has been impressive and gaining new tricks and doing different things. Like I didn't really see him switch once in the fight until he landed like a switch uppercut. And his fight beforehand, all we were talking about was the switch jab. So I like those adjustments. I like those tricky things that he did where he did something an entire fight, and then this fight he took a totally different game plan. I think that's just really smart of Trevor Whitman. If that was his idea, like I think that's a really smart way of going forward and being an unstoppable champion by going, okay, this is going to be the theme this fight. They've never seen this. We're not even going to do what we did last fight. You know, we're going to do something completely different because he's so good at learning and implementing it in fight night. And a lot of athletes aren't able to do that. Some people have to learn a technique for years before they actually have the confidence to throw it in a fight, even if they're doing it perfectly in sparring and on the pads. To have the confidence to do it in a fight, a lot of times it takes like 2 or 3 fights before they're like, oh, okay, oh, this works, you know. But he has that immediately. It seems like he's learning new things and implementing them immediately, and that's why his striking has gotten so good so fast. That's why he's remained undefeated. And it did get a little scary in those championship rounds, and that's why it's always, you know, nerve-wracking going into those last 2 rounds, because it's like, okay, you already fought a whole fight. Now you're giving your opponent 2 rounds to catch up to you, you know. Like it's scary. Those adjustments being made in the corner, it can totally change the momentum of a championship round. So yeah, it was a little scary. And I think the fact that Colby usually has people on the back foot, you never really see him meeting them with pressure. When his opponents come forward, that's not that often. When they come forward like that, like Kamaru was, leaving his head in a dangerous spot like Kamaru was. So that's when you start hurting people, you know. That's when you're able to meet their forward pressure with a punch, you're adding double impact to that punch. So that's why Colby was able to make such a huge pop on him, get such a big reaction, because Kamaru was coming in hard the entire fight. He finally found that timing and was able to land right on the chin. So yes, it was scary, but Kamaru is such a great champion. So when he gets wobbled, and that happened in the Masvidal fight too, he got hit a little bit and it was scary. But when he gets wobbled, he keeps his composure. I don't even know if his opponents can tell he got hurt. Like it's obvious for us because we can see like what his legs do. You know, we can see the chance just kind of change a little bit, and we're like, "Ooh, shit, that hurt him." But when you're staring at someone in the face and you're looking at the collarbone and you're just trying to see what's coming at you, you're not really looking them in the eyes, then you could totally miss all those reads. You might just think, "Ow, my hand hurts," because I hit him so hard, you know, and this motherfucker is still standing in front of me. What do I have to do to put him down? So Kamaru has a great poker face. He was able to last those rounds and still come out on top after he got wobbled. And man, what a scary motherfucker. Like, who's gonna beat him? You know, like who's gonna beat him? We have Chimaev, right? He's in the same weight class, so we have that guy. But all the right matchups have to happen, all the right circumstances have to happen for him to even get a chance. So, you know, this is gonna be a fun puzzle for those guys to solve.
Agreed. And the thing is Leon has great boxing, but Kamaru can put him on the canvas. And then what? So that's the thing is, you know, at this point, like you said, Kamaru, he's kind of doing the Valentina thing, right? You guys don't think I can grapple? Watch this. You know what I mean? And so then just keep adapting. and changing and keeping everybody guessing now. And you're right. Like at this point, and just because I was nervous, you're right. Like if you're training with Gaethje, you learned how to handle yourself in a firefight. There's no way you haven't learned some composure if you're sparring with a guy like him. And I'm not exactly sure how much those guys spar, but even in their drills, you can't work with Gaethje and not go, you know what I mean? And not improve and learn how to keep yourself together in the worst case scenarios. So add that to the fact that he's at altitude. So his cardio is going to be unbelievable. And, the more you're there, the dude has the second longest win streak in UFC history now. Anderson Silva had 16 in a row. Kamaru has 15 in a row now.
Wow.
15 wins in a row in the UFC, in the freaking welterweight division. So I remember working on his, Ultimate Fighter stuff. And when he won that, it was amazing. And I've just really been excited to watch him grow over the years. And obviously we work together sometimes at the UFC desk, which is great. And so, obviously, Ange, we all had to, and I say we, all of us chocolate skinned people, had to deal with Colby's BS for a long time.
Yes.
And I know it's an act, but so what? It's still like, it's still like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't care if it's an act. It's annoying. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Just shut up. Like, I don't care if it's an act. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So, I'm just so glad.
Sorry. For me, his saving grace was his fighting ability. Like he can fight his fucking ass off. So that's always been a saving grace for me. And I only watch anything else of his if I have to do an impersonation.
Exactly. No, I give him a lot of credit. The dude can fight. I never said differently, but shut up. Just stop. Just shut up. And so now it's like, well, what are you going to do now? Because here's the thing. So you could already see at the end of the fight, right, that he was trying to be nice and like, oh, it was just for money and like, and so now fake Marty Snoozman beat his ass twice. And so then it's like, well, okay, so that was your thing. But so now I guess the question is, where does Colby go from here in terms of his shtick? And where does he go? Because very clearly he's proven that he is a great fighter, and there are some good things. I mean, Colby versus Khamzat would be awesome. Like, I would freaking love to see that,
Of course you would.
And so I honestly don't like, he's good. It's just like, I just get tired of like hearing him talk, like, and like having to sit there on the air and like listen to his like, script.
No.
It's just.
What we need the exact opposite, to balance it out. That's why I'm going to become Hotep Ange.
Nice.
That's going to be my whole thing. I feel like people already think that I'm a Hotep because I said, oh, white people shouldn't say the N-word. Oh my God. Racist. You're racist. Why he's racist? That's going to be racist to me. So I should just lean into it and become Hotep Ange, where I'm like, UFC Africa and I don't know. Honestly, no white champions ever.
but listen, because obviously he has a lot of fans, and it is interesting because people are saying that, you did the heel thing and it's the wrestling, and like I said, I get it. It's just like, I just don't care for it, but obviously it works and it's good for him and it helped his career. But what do you do now, right? Because now you at first he would just sort of say all this stuff and pretend it wasn't an act, and then he was like admitted it's an act. So then now do you get to just be like, do you get to just put that character away and then just move forward now as Colby, the guy who had 2 awesome title fights with the champ and who's a really great fighter? And do you now just pretend like that didn't happen? And now do you say, hey, I've earned people's respect because I just showed out in these 2 awesome fights with arguably the best welterweight now. So like, now maybe I don't have to do this stuff to get your attention. Maybe you guys will just watch my fights now because I'm good. Like, maybe he doesn't need it anymore. I honestly don't know what's going to happen.
He's stuck with it. That's him. That's his personality. Like, as much as he wants to say it's an act, he's been consistent. He's like done interviews with Candace, what's her name? Candace Owens.
Oh,
Candace, what's her name? The fucking
I think that's her
chick.
name.
Yeah, he's showing up to places and he's talking to people about these things that he says is just an act. So it's not an act anymore. Like, this is your celebrity persona, and it's
Right.
going to continue to be that. Maybe he'll ask for a recount with the judges.
That's
You need a
amazing. He should ask the judges for a recount.
Ask
That's
for a recount.
hilarious.
Tally those scores up again.
That's hilarious.
maybe he'll storm the next UFC card.
Yes.
Like, there's all sorts of options that he can do. But
He could do that.
if I was him, I'd keep the shtick up. It keeps his fans that he already has, and it will get him other fights. And if on the off chance that Kamaru loses in the near future, he's still going to be one of those people next in line. So it depends on how successful Kamaru is, whether he's going to either work his way up to a trilogy fight or be able to fight the new champ coming in. So there's tons of options for him. It always sucks when someone fights a champ twice, loses twice, and then it's like, now what? But it's never that bad of a now what. Really, you're just hanging out, taking fights, collecting paychecks, and making sure you show up and look unstoppable every time you fight. Because if you're able to do that, they're definitely going to call you back for a title shot, be it the trilogy or the first challenge for the new champion. So yeah, I think he just keeps his shtick up, keeps fighting people. Fight the best, like Blonde Brunson, keep fighting these prospects who aren't quite there yet, and just whoop their ass like big brother, and he can definitely be on track to that title shot again, maybe in the next 4 years.
I was gonna say, if he really wants to be Mr. Ballsy, then he should call out Khamzat. And I know he came up with a clever name for him. I was like, oh, that's gross.
What did he say? I didn't hear this one.
He called him let's see. I don't like it. I don't want to say it. It's gross. People out there, you guys know. It has to do with, let's just say, he called him.
Should I Google it? Like, I really want to know now.
I don't want to say. I know it's so childish. I don't even want to say it because it was just gross.
Okay.
It's what's another word for ejaculation?
Khamzat?
Yes. Come and then shot.
What?
He called him instead. It's
so
bad. Yeah.
What?
It's gross.
Ew.
Come on, dude. It's gross. That's what I'm saying. It's nasty. It's just gross.
Did he say his last name?
Yeah. He calls him blank shot Chimay. I'm like, really, guy? And you know how I feel about like the P word. I always get upset when people use the P word. I love puns and wordplay. So partly on some of the things that he said, I'm like, all right, that one was pretty good. There's been some that I've definitely chuckled with, but I was like, this one I just thought was gross.
Yeah, that's disgusting. It's not even clever.
It's just gross.
Yeah, it's really not clever. Oh, so it's funny because he called him that, and then Khamzat responded with a bunch of pictures of Colby all busted up.
Nice. But I'm saying if Colby wants to secure himself as a badass, he should fight Khamzat.
That would be awesome. I think if anything, he's building it, by calling him disgusting names.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because if you lose, like at this point, I will say I give him a lot of credit for knowing how to build up a fight and getting people to care and getting people to, want to see him lose or see him succeed. I mean, it would be a huge deal if he stopped Khamzat because that guy does look incredible. And so the first person to beat him is going to be a major G.
Yeah. We'll see. I feel like it's best to get in now before it gets too good. I know. Before he starts making, adjustments or making mistakes. Like it's better to get him now before he makes mistakes, so you can be the one he makes the mistake against, so he doesn't fix his mistake and then he has no mistakes anymore. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. And we've talked about this before, but the rumor is on him that he has, he's had the same training as Gus. So his boxing and his stand-up is allegedly the same. We just haven't even seen it yet because we haven't needed to.
Wow.
So
allegedly.
that's what
But
I got from the
it's
trainers
best.
at All Stars.
The trainers will talk you up so much. Just
Oh yeah, of course. This guy's the
like
best. But
get
listen,
in there, Colby. You can do it.
I'm getting hot. Are you getting hot? I'm getting hot in my jacket in my house.
You're getting hot just thinking about it.
Just getting hot thinking about Colby.
Oh man,
Oh, he's
Colby.
so fine. And I believe he's with all those girls.
Oh yeah, he totally is.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
That's not fake. Okay, so
About as real as this jacket. And this hair.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, so listen. So Rose and Weili, their fight really was incredible as well. I don't know. You know, a lot of people seem to be ignoring Carla as the next person.
Oh yeah.
You know, Tatiana
Including
Suarez.
Cormier. I don't think you mentioned her at all, right?
No,
That's
no.
what I heard.
Tatiana's amazing, but she's injured, you know, and it sucks. And so,
and she's going up to 25.
And she's going up to 25, exactly. But so it is interesting, you know, with Carla and Rose obviously have some history. They have fought before. Carla is the inaugural strawweight champ because she beat Rose in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter to become the champ. So there's history there. Carla has steadily been winning her fights, and maybe she's done so in a more quiet way. But, you know, she's put the record together. Joanna we don't know what she's up to. And even still, like, does she come back for one? Marina Rodriguez is on the rise. But, you know, what are you going to do?
There's a lot of good matchups. I think Carla deserves it next. I don't think we want to see Weili get the shot again. No. Especially, you know, Weili improved so much with bringing her wrestling into the game, and like she out grappled Rose. Like, who does that? So I think if Weili goes back and just keeps improving, she's gonna become way more dangerous if she gets a third title shot. You know what I mean? I think when you get bogged up at the top and you just keep fighting people for the title shot, and then you end up like Holly Holm having like losing the last 4 out of 5 fights, and everyone's like, why are you still ranked? And it's like, well, because these were killers that I was fighting, and I'm going to destroy everyone else. A lot of times it could take your confidence away of how good you are. So I think Weili not getting that title immediate rematch again just because it was close is a good idea, because then she can go back and become more dominant, and who knows how long Rose is going to sit out. Like, she's notorious for taking her time to get back in there, you know, which is worked out beautifully for her. That's the way she operates. So I think Carla deserves the next shot. I think it was smart of her to wait. She got a bunch of good wins, strong wins. And after seeing Weili's attack on Rose, I definitely feel like Carla has a good chance of stealing that title back just because of Weili's success with the wrestling. And that's how Carla beat Rose the first time too. So, you know, if Rose takes that matchup, the game plan will be more expected. So maybe it won't catch Rose as off guard. Like, oh shit, I'm defending takedowns. Like, what? You know, like maybe she'll be a little more prepared, like to have those reactions triggering fast enough to defend or to look for counters to it and stuff. She's really good at countering with BJJ off of wrestling takedowns. But I would love to see that matchup. I think Carla has really done a good job of improving her game plan and being a more dominant fighter, where before she had a lot of close decision wins and losses. Now she's just blowing through people. So I think she deserves it for sure. Her, then after Carla, Rodriguez, sorry. And then, you know, maybe Joanna pops back in, gets a win off of somebody in the top 5, and then she gets a shot. But it's really, you really just have to see how things pan out. But I think Carla deserves the next shot for sure. Yeah. I hope they, you know, show her some love. And, you know, I'm not sure what she should do. You know, it's, you know, obviously people have talked their way into title shots. She hasn't done that, but kind of by being quiet, it's almost like you get the rest of the world to do the work for you. Like, hey, don't forget about Cookie Monster, you know? So
I do hope that we see her in action and soon. And I do think she has earned it as well. And like I said, there's a storyline there with them as a rematch anyway. So you could definitely sell that. So let's talk about Gaethje and Chandler, though. I don't know who you had in mind for the win on this one. I really didn't have a dog in the fight other than just like I wanted to see two junkyard dogs go for it. So whoever won, to me, I was going to stand up and applaud either way. And it was everything we wanted and more. Instant classic, instant this. I did get really nervous for Michael and his face. And I just kept thinking about his kid and like his young son and like, how do you explain that? And that's tough. So my heart kind of went there a little bit during that fight. And I did think though, and I don't know, you're the fighter, so I did think it got to a little bit of a point where maybe Chandler was like, all right, I don't think I'm going to win now, but I'm going to make this a memorable fight and a classic fight. And I think he even posted something saying like he maybe made some questionable choices in the fight, right? But like the sticking your face out, the pointing to the ground, like looking for that Holloway moment, the Holloway Lamas moment, and knowing that you were doing something really memorable. And yes, he could have maybe caught Justin in one of those exchanges, but I started to think to myself as I was watching it, okay, maybe Michael knows he's not going to win now, but he's just putting on a mother freaking show for all of us. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Like he legit got knocked out in the second round. Like that was the fight over. Like Keith Peterson would have stopped that. Dom would have had no qualms about him stopping that fight. It was just like it was crazy that he was able to reboot himself back up and get right back in the fight and win a round. I felt like maybe possibly win the last, I don't know, maybe not win the round, but at least do some damage and land some impactful strikes on his way out. So that was really impressive to see. I kept thinking that there was going to be a fourth and fifth round watching it because the momentum didn't stop. Like there was no okay, crazy end of the second round and then slow pace and then a crazy end of the third round. That's usually how 3-round fight wars go. But this was just like pace all the way through each bell. And it was insane to watch. The whole time I'm just like, oh shit, it's only been a minute. It's only been a minute into the first round. Oh my God, they're not even halfway through the second round. Like, how is this happening?
My daughter was freaking like, she's like, what are you doing? Because I'm like, oh my God, oh shit, oh my God. Like, that's all I did. I just kept freaking out the whole time. She's like, Mom, are you all right? I'm like, no, I'm okay. I don't know if they are, but I'm fine. But like, what am I watching right now?
Oh, the fight was insane. I hope their brains are okay. Unfortunately, with fights like that, you always wonder, will they be the same afterwards? I think Gaethje will be
That is Gaethje. That's
Gaethje. Like that's every fight Gaethje's in, so I'm not as worried about him. But Chandler's been in some wars too. We just haven't seen them because they were in Bellator and we're not supposed to talk about it.
I was at a couple of them. I was at some Chandler Alvarez fights and stuff. Like the dude, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he has been in wars. And I do think that this fight, he'll be different after this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But one thing that I did think was funny is that the betting line was pretty close because it could go either one of two ways. Gaethje destroys his legs and gets a TKO that way because he plants Chandler on the ground, or Chandler baits his leg and uses it to land a power punch on Gaethje, and both things happen. The surprising thing was Chandler was throwing his own leg kicks. I was like, oh, okay, this is something you don't normally see from Chandler, but okay. Shouts to Jason Strout. He's an old kickboxing coach that I used to know in New York, and he's working with all the guys at Stanford MMA right now. Cool. So I'm wondering if he had a little influence on those leg kicks, getting him to open up a bit with his striking. But yeah, the more tricks that Chandler learns, the more he's going to catch people with those big, crazy hooks over the top and his big power overhand, back power cross. So yeah, man, that was an insane fight to watch. Gaethje was the more precise. He landed the hardest shots, but man, the fight was crazy. Like I can't wait to watch either of them fight again.
Yeah, it's insane, and I do hope that Gaethje gets the winner of Poirier and Oliveira. Because at
Yeah.
this point, it's like, what the hell else does that dude need to do to get a title shot?
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's gonna be fun to watch. Like, just give it to him. But who cares how many fights he won in a row?
I know,
Like,
it
just
doesn't
fucking let
matter.
him fight.
It doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't matter. Just let him fight the champ. Fuck it. Fuck
Do it.
it. I want to see it.
Yeah, we
Everyone
all
wants
want
to
to see
see
it.
it. Everyone wants to see it.
We all want to see that. Yeah,
Cool, we're in
so
agreement.
yes, for sure, for sure. So I'm trying to think what else stood out to you. I mean, there was that. Actually, we should say. I know this is what it was. I was going to ask you who overkilled it, because I wanted to say who was in K Beast mode at UFC 268, and I got to give it up to Chito Vera, because I hate to see that kind of knockout happen to somebody as beloved as Frankie Edgar. That said, what a knockout. Like, what a knockout. And again, like I freaked out and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and you had to bam. And so right up the middle, the knockout was incredible. We've seen the pictures of poor Frankie's face, but Chito was so in the zone, so in K Beast mode. And like he talked about it after, like, you saw him flipping off Frankie, and I was like, you can't flip off Frank. You can't flip off Frankie Edgar. But I like what Chito said in there, like, you don't do that. But he's like, no, we're in a fight. We are fighting for money. We are not homies when we were in there at that point. And I actually really like that, because we've talked about this before, like the high five and all the time, like, stop. Like, some people are too friendly in the octagon. So I like that killer be killed attitude in there. And I know that Chito is not that guy outside of the octagon. So he's a really great guy, family guy. I mean, he's nuts. He's totally nuts. I work with him and he's nuts. But in a great way. And so
looks great in the suit, though. Looks great in the suit.
Yes. So I've got to give it up. Got to give it up to Chito.
Okay.
Because he was fully in K Beast mode.
No, that's definitely well earned. K Beast mode championship goes to Chito. I was super impressed. Oh my God, he looked great on all levels. Yeah. But my overkilling it moment has to go to Beast Boy, walking in every moment of his fight. I was just sitting there like, you're such a great entertainer, like, I was so impressed. Every moment of this fight, the walkout, him coming into the cage, his crazy kicks and flips, and just like how aggressive he was, how fast he can move with that big old belly, and then to get that wheel kick knockout at the end. Yeah. Oh, and his top knot.
Yeah, totally.
His top knot that magically hovered over the bald spot in his head. How did he do that? He needs to write it. He needs to do a tutorial just on that. Yeah. But okay, so all these things were working magically together. And then he gets this crazy wheel kick. It almost looked like a capoeira kick, because he touches the ground and gets his leg up and drops poor John and in his retirement fight, and then the celebration, and then the post-fight speech where he's giving Gian all these props. He's like, can he stay? He needs to stay, like all for his boy. Like, talk about wanting the killer be killed in there, but then being able to switch that off and immediately have respect for your opponent right after. Dude, I was so impressed on every level with him. So yes, Chris Barnett, you overkilled it. You stole the show. Except for Gaethje and Chandler. Except for Gaethje and Chandler, but you stole the show on the prelims and all that. Yeah, good.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. So congrats to him. Yeah, so entertaining. And I think my favorite thing was, what did he say after? Like, he said something like, he's like, no. I'm 170 pounds. He said something about like how he kind of like believes, he's got like he's a welterweight body. So he's like, I can do all this stuff. Because like I'm only 170 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, he's floating. He's like Genie from Aladdin.
Yes. There you go. That was awesome. It was overall a great event. And I know there was like Bobby Green had a great showing against Ally Quinta, and Bobby Green is another one of those guys who has been around the UFC for a while and is gotten better. Like Bobby was one of those guys who had a lot of split decisions and things just weren't kind of going his way. And sometimes you wondered about his motivation or you just didn't know what was going on. And something changed, something clicked, and he is just doing so much better now. And he's just doing great. And he's such an interesting guy and has a really positive message for just people in life in general anyway. Because Bobby's been through some stuff and he's seen some incredibly hard times. And I think that's why he's able to really appreciate the good stuff that he has.
Yeah.
But to me, it's been really enjoyable to watch Bobby evolve and get better. And it's just really cool to see somebody who's been here for a while making new surprises and adding new wrinkles. Like, go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sad it was against Al because I love me some Al and he was on Tuesday night festivities with it. So like, I hated that it was against Al, who I just adore. But I was really happy for Bobby.
You have to be happy for Bobby, like what he's gone through and, not even knowing his background story, just what he's gone through in the UFC, having these crazy like split decisions where he did so many cool, impressive things. You wish it was a win. You know what I mean? Like he's just always there to impress and put on a show and stun on people. Like when he fights, he's stunning. He's like, I don't need to put my hands up. But like it's just so impressive. Like his command of the cage is so super impressive. And when he wins in such style that you're like, man, this dude's gonna be champ one day. So it was really awesome to see him perform in that way again. And I'm hoping much success in the future because he has it, he has it. There's so much that has to do with luck, so much that has to do with the right matchup, so much that has to do with the judges, unfortunately. But he has all these really impressive, incredible skills, and they were all on display on Saturday.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Good.
Well,
so good.
That's what had happened. What happened at 268? Well, we should wrap it up. We're at like the 56-minute mark here. Plus, I'm getting really hot in this jacket.
Too, but luckily, I only have a sports bra on. You got the double leopard.
I got the,
two leopards.
Leopard on, or one of them might be cheetah. I don't even know, but it's like I just realized, but it's no surprise. But damn, we look good in animal prints.
We do. Our queen's crown.
Well,
crowns are
seeing
showing.
As I am a cougar. Oh wait, was that out loud? Anyway, you can find me on Instagram, KB Heat. That's where we do Tuesday night festivities. This week we're having Glover Teixeira, which is pretty awesome. But we've had Rose on, we've had you on with Uriah Hall, we've had on Aljoy, we've had on Ally Quinton, we've had on Lionheart, we've had on a bunch of cool people. We've had Josh Barnett, we've had Jarzinho. Really good stuff. So I think we need to get Chris Barnett on this show, though. He might need to be our What Happened Was guest. But then also on YouTube, you can find me YouTube/Karyn Bryant. Hallelujah, that thing works again. So that's where you can find all these shows. And on Twitter, I'm at Karyn Bryant as well. KarynBryant. Colby, same as Colby as in Bryant, but no relation. May he rest in peace. Angie, where do they find you?
Angie Overkill. On Instagram, Twitter. And Overkill Hill on TikTok.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, folks, we also put these up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And we've said this is episode number 40. So, go back, look around, dig into some of our other ones. It's fun.
Check them out. We only wear leopard print on this one, though.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.